Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be bringing to you my what to buy first when on a budget guide for the Galactic Republic for VWing 2nd edition. This video is sponsored by Luxury Playstyle. Be sure to check out luxuryplaystyle.com for the most amazing X-Wing tokens you're going to find. There are full metal tokens, double-sided. If you use my code Crabbok VIP, you're going to save 15%. Also, while supplies last, orders of $35 or more are going to get you a free Crabbok token. So a double-sided, also with the lightsaber nunchucks on them. So definitely check out Luxury Playstyle, and don't forget that code Crabbok VIP. Make great stocking stuffers, by the way. All right, so this video is going to be a what to buy first guide for the Galactic Republic. Now, in the past, I've done these for other factions, and I kind of want to caveat a lot of this video with this is really my opinion. And I'm going to try to give you the reasoning behind a lot of these choices. But since if you're a new player and you're on a budget, I think your focus when playing these games should be to have fun. If you're trying to win tournaments and everything, you're probably going to need to buy more stuff, and maybe a budget-friendly guide isn't the best guide for you. So this isn't the guide on how you can jump into the game and start winning tournaments right away. This is basically the guide for how can you start to play and what expansions are going to potentially give you the best value added for your buck, as well as what might kind of work better together with other things, because you don't necessarily want something that isn't that good by itself, or maybe needs a whole lot of more things to be effective, and that's kind of some of the things that motivate some of my decisions, as well as honestly my own personal opinion. So first and foremost, I think you should get whatever you have your heart set on. Okay, so like the first thing I say, normally, well, to be fair, the first thing you probably need to get is a core set. Now, this one is actually in dispute. Things have slightly changed over the years, and now it's not absolutely critical that you start X-Wing with a core set. Now, I still recommend that people start with a core set, primarily because this is going to teach you the rules of the game, teach you how to play it, how to play the fundamentals of the game, but it does not have Republic ships in it. So if you want to play the Jedi or the clones, this is not going to have ships for you. So there's a little bit of lost value here, and I understand that. But the reason why this is the first thing that people should probably get is because before you get your heart set on playing Republic or any other faction, learn the game first. Now, maybe you've already learned the game. Maybe you have a friend who has everything. Maybe you're in one of those situations. And of course, if that's the case, then maybe you won't even need a core set, or maybe you'll already know exactly what you want to play. And I certainly, if you've gotten to this point, then you might already have an idea, because maybe you're looking to play the Republic. But still, a core set is a pretty darn good value, because you're getting not only these 3 ships in X-Wing and 2 TIE fighters, but you're also getting a lot of upgrade cards. You're also getting a rule book. You're also getting a range tool. You're getting movement templates. You're getting tokens. You're getting, of course, you're getting dice. You're getting a damage deck. You're getting all kinds of things that you need to play the game. And while pretty much everything that's in this box is available separately, to purchase all of those items separately as their own individual expansions, a dice pack plus the deluxe maneuver kit and range ruler, the deluxe templates set, and then a separate damage deck, and all of these other things, it's going to end up, like, I feel like it's just, you're better off getting the core set. You're going to get everything in one container. You're also going to get a box you can carry around your first couple of, small fleets in, and, it's just an overall good deal. It's a good value for all the stuff that you're getting, and, if you are just getting into the game, start with this. Even if you didn't want to play, the Rebels versus the Empire, it's still enough to teach you the rules. You may not like the Rebels and the Empire. You may want to try other factions, no problem. Or you may decide, hey, you know what? I do kind of like the Rebels and the Empire. And also, it gives you some more ships to play around with. So beyond a core set, we're going to be looking at some other things. But I do want to say that you probably should lean more heavily onto your own opinion on things that you really enjoy, because I think it's more important that you get enjoyment and fun out of the game. And so for example, if you really, really like Y-Wings, then you should get Y-Wings maybe first. Maybe even get multiples of them. And ignore wherever I say or I rank Y-Wings. I'll talk a little bit about each ship as I get to them. But I think the fun factor and your own preference will supersede my advice. But I'm still going to give you my advice anyway. So I'm going to start off with Guardians of the Republic. Now, this is a Squadron Pack. This is not super cheap, but this is a really good entry point into the faction and into the game. You're still going to be new to the game. You're going to have some of the stuff that comes in the core set. This is going to give you a lot of other stuff. This is almost like a starter. So if you have other things available, if you have a friend who's been playing for X-Wing for a long time and they had like spare cardboard tokens to give you a spare range ruler, spare damage deck, and things like that, you may be able to skip the core set and jump straight into this purchase. There's a lot of upgrades in this pack. You're getting a lot of ship cards, and you're getting 3 ships. You're getting your Delta 7 and then your 2 V19s. Now this is the only place that you can get V19s. But it kind of introduces you to the 2 basic aspects of what the Republic as a faction is currently in X-Wing. And that's basically clones and Jedi. It's not only that, but that's your basic 2 things. Your Jedi are kind of like your elite pilots, and your clones are more of your swarmy teamwork kind of pilots. Not to say that there aren't elite clones, and not to say that Jedi don't ever use teamwork, but that's kind of the 2 mentalities within this faction. And this pack kind of showcases those 2, and it's a good value. You're getting 3 ships in 1 box. You're going to get a good introduction. Plus, you have notable Jedi like Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's his Delta 7 in there, and so you're just going to get some very, very cool stuff. You're not going to get Anakin Skywalker in this pack, however. But yeah, this is just a really good starting point, and it's going to be the top of my list. And once they start putting out Aces packs in the eventual future, those will probably rank very high on the list as well. This is kind of like an Aces pack, right? This is you hear Aces packs talked about as they're starting to come out for other factions, and basically they're like 3 ship packs. And they usually have extra pilots and alternate paint jobs and all kinds of things like that. So, it's a great starting point, Guardians of the Republic. Next up, the Eta 2 Actis. Now, this one looks really, really fun, and the reason I put this one up higher on this list, again, this is my own personal preference, I am a big fan of the Jedi. It doesn't mean that you should only get Jedi stuff first. It's just like this is part of my personal preference. I also think as a new player, if you're on a budget, you're going to get some pretty cool interactions here. You're going to have an Anakin Skywalker that is flying in here, and he can get a bonus if he's flying with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And since you have Obi-Wan Kenobi already, there's going to be some natural teamwork and synergy that work on that Anakin Skywalker card that's in there in the Eta 2. You may even want to get multiple Eta 2s, and that's certainly something that you can consider doing. Another reason that this is in here is that you're also kind of getting 2 different things. You're getting that hyperspace ring, which is actually a separate piece, and it's not really legal for tournament play, but for casual games and stuff like that, if you're just playing and you're learning the game, it's like a non-tournament legal type of piece, like an open format, a casual format type of piece that has some of its own rules and lets you do some kind of cool stuff, just like you would have seen in the movies, where they can kind of show up in this ring and then kind of deploy outward. This will teach you a little bit of how deploying works, and you're kind of basically getting 2 miniatures in 1 pack. Plus, you're getting a very recognizable ship. The Eta 2 is the ship that we saw Anakin and Obi-Wan flying at the beginning of Episode 3. So you're getting a recognizable ship, and you're getting 2 separate miniatures. So I think that makes it a pretty darn cool ship. Plus the synergy with the Jedi make it very fun. Now you will have 4 ships that you can run, and these can also fill up your points spread pretty well too, because the Eta 2 is if you want to also include that hyperspace ring. I feel like you get a lot of options here. Next up, the Lat-I gunship. The Lat is huge and beautiful, and I feel like this is, and it's a little more of an expensive expansion in particular, but it's very, very, very recognizable, right? This may be some people's first option for things that they want to get, and I certainly wouldn't hold it against you because it's a very, very recognizable ship. Some people also may not like the LAT at all. They may say, you know what, I don't want LATs in space. I think LATs are better for a ground battle or whatever, So everybody's going to have their own opinions on this, but I think it's pretty cool because it does some of that clone support or teamwork. It's a very good support ship. It's there to help the rest of your fleet, but on top of that, it also comes with some really cool Jedi that can be aboard. So this one can kind of work towards the a Jedi build or a clone build, depending on how you want to build your list. It's actually a very good ship to fly in a lot of different styles of fleets. And even though even though it comes with great cards, I don't know if that will always be something that we want to, really base our recommendations on, because there are card packs that have come out for the game, and I assume there will be more card packs again in the future. I would like to see that, and I hope that they continue to do card expansions, so basically to get players caught up so they're not having to buy ships just for the upgrades, but rather buying ships because they want the ships. But either way, it's a great ship, and you can put clones on there, you can put Jedi on there, and it can support a fleet that's running either clones or Jedi or both. Next up, the ARC 170. This is a very, very recognizable fighter. It is definitely I think maybe one of the most recognizable fighters and one of the most expected fighters you would expect to see in a Clone Wars battle, and it's also a very good ship to have. Even though I lean more towards the Jedi, not everybody is going to lean more towards the Jedi, and this is also, it's beautiful. It's one of the most finely sculpted ships out there. Comes with some good upgrade cards as well, but it's a beautiful ship. It's a very sturdy ship. It's a very survivable ship, and works in a variety of builds as well. Leans a little bit more towards a clone type of build, in my opinion, but still a very cool ship, and I think you'll really enjoy its table presence when you're flying an ARC 170. Next up, we talked about Y-Wings before. The Y-Wing, the BTLB Y-Wing brings that classic Y-Wing appearance, and this is, I think, one that's going to kind of depend on a lot of people's opinions. Some folks did not like the way that these looked. Some people loved the way that these looked and actually preferred these to the Rebel Y-Wings. And and they definitely fly differently than the Rebel Y-Wings. It's different nomenclature. It's it's the same class of ship, but it's still a different type of Y-Wing. You're actually going to be getting clones in here as well as Jedi, because you do get Anakin Skywalker in a Y-Wing. So this can also have some synergy when flying other Jedi builds. Anakin and Obi-Wan are currently the only pilots that get kind of called out by name in some of the other upgrades, namely in the Eta 2 Actis expansion. So if you were looking for another way to get a different version of Anakin Skywalker, there's one here. It's going to be a little different than your standard Ace, in that he's flying such a big kind of clunky truck of a ship. But you also get some cool things. You get like R2-D2, can fly the Y-Wing, which is very cool. And it's also a ship that can take ion cannons and do some utility, and it's going to add a little bit of variety to the types of ships that you're bringing to the table. Next up, the Delta 7 Aether Sprite has its own actual individual expansion. It's got a different paint job than the one that came in the starter, or the Republic starter. But this one is going to be Anakin Skywalker's Delta 7. Now, this one was, it came out at the same time that the very, very first wave of Clone Wars and X-Wing came out. So a lot of people would have bought this right away, because while you already are going to have, if you're following this list, you already have a Delta 7. So you're thinking, well, why do I want another Delta 7? Well, maybe if this is only if you really want to run Jedi, and I think Jedi are actually pretty good. Anakin Skywalker is in here, as well as a couple of other Jedi. He's not the only pilot, so you're going to be getting new pilots for the Delta 7. So now you can run multiple Delta 7s, and you don't necessarily need to have you know, you don't have to put Anakin in this one, but it's also kind of cool to get a different version of the paint job. So if you do like a Jedi-based build, this is a great ship to go. And if you prefer Jedi to clones, then maybe get this one a little bit earlier than others. This could actually make a good second purchase if you really like the Delta 7 and like the way it flies, because now you have more pilots and more options for your existing Delta 7, and now you can fly 2 different Delta 7s side by side. So the Delta 7, and this is the only way to get the pilots that come with this particular pack, like Anakin Skywalker. The reason this is also lower on the list is because Anakin's available in so many other places now that, you know, you really don't need him in the Delta 7, right? Speaking of Anakin being available in other places, the N1 Starfighter is a little bit lower on the list. Not that this is a bad ship, it's definitely recognizable. It's also just a cheaper ship, so I feel like if you're on a budget, this is one of those ships that might not want to be one of your first purchases. It's a little bit lighter on points and what I mean by that is if you're new to the game, you know, typical games are run at 200 points. And so, you know, that's usually around 3 to 4 ships for a lot of builds. But if you're only running N1 Starfighters, it would require more of them to fill up that list because they, you know, aren't weighted the same as like a VWing or a, you know, an ETA 2 Jedi or something like that. So they end up being a little bit more of a swarmy kind of ship, but they're kind of an in-between. But also there's certain cards in here that kind of work better if you have multiple N1s flying together. And so this is a ship that kind of wants to be purchased in multiples. I think 3 is kind of the sweet spot if you're really trying to do everything that this ship is capable of. And so, you know, I feel like if you buy one of these, you're going to be, you know, influenced to want to buy 3 of them. And so if you're on a budget, I put this one later down in the list because of that fact. Still, it's not a bad ship. It's just not one of my favorites. Though I do like the sculpt. I like the way it looks and everything like that. Great recognizable table presence as well. It's just I feel like you're not going to be able to get everything out of this ship with only one. And for similar reasons, I have the VWing kind of at the bottom of the list here, and that this is in many ways the predecessor to the TIE Fighter, and is kind of going to handle very much the same way and kind of be portrayed in a lot of the same ways as the TIE Fighter, which basically make it a cheaper and expensive ship to run into. And I mean, as far as points, as far as the weight in the game, not the price tag. Right, so to fill up a list of only V-wings, it would require way more purchased V-wings, than a lot of other ships. And so, you really, to get the most out of the V-wing, you may need a swarm of them, and that's probably not the best starting place for a new player. However, if you are playing multiple factions, and maybe you also play the Empire, or maybe you did get that core set and you did like the way those TIE Fighters work, you are going to find some upgrades in here that also work for TIE Fighters. So that's kind of a little bonus for it. But and it's certainly a very cool looking ship by all accounts, and also can interact much like the ETA 2 and also the Delta 7. This can interact with those hyperspace rings, which is pretty fun if you do have the ETA 2. It's just more value for the ETA 2 expansion, in my opinion. But the V-Wing is not necessarily a bad ship, but if you're on a budget, I think it's telling you, hey, you want to buy lots and lots of me, and that's probably not the best starting place for a new player. We do have a couple of other things. If you decide you're going to play long enough, there are card packs. Now, I don't necessarily think that this needs to be one of the first things that you get, the Hot Shots and Aces packs. It's got a lot of pilots really for the other factions, right? But there's also some other upgrade cards in there in case you're missing anything that's in there. They're on fantasyflightgames.com. They have under products, they have like listings of all the different cards and everything that comes in here. You also have the Never Tell Me the Odds and Fully Loaded. That's going to get you all of the different bombs and obstacles and all of the things to get you caught up with everybody else who had been playing all along and had all the different types of clouds and asteroids and all of that stuff. So there's other things that you can do after that, but that's if you really get that far and you just wanted to explore everything. Now, hopefully you found this video helpful. I know there's not a whole lot of ships out there for the Republic right now, and this list is certainly going to change as new things come out. But this is, as of November 2020, And I'm sure in 2021 we'll see more stuff, and I'll keep these videos updated. I do them about every year or so for all of the different games, and I try to do them for all of the different factions. But first and foremost, I mean, if you disagree with anything on this list, or if you are a new player and you just said, man, but I really like the VWing, then by all means, buy lots of VWings. I'm not telling you what you can and can't do. This is just my recommendations if you're on a budget on maybe where to start. Okay, hopefully you did like this video. If you did, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. I run giveaways all the time. There's one running right now for a $25 Amazon gift card. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment. Also, my 12 Days of Life Day is coming up in December, and I will be giving away, during 12 times throughout December, I'll be giving away gifts, surprise gifts, to people who have left a comment and are subscribers. So make sure you stick around for that. I usually announce those things towards the end of my videos, so stay tuned for that. I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing, and I could not do this without you, so thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Daylight savings time is terrible and needs to go away, and as always, have a great day.